Today, there are a lot more digital filters to prevent spam posts from taking over online discussion. Almost every single website today has some form of human, built-in verification process to combat the issue. While spam as a whole certainly exists in many forms today, it's prolific to see one bot seemingly capable of taking over almost any website that it can. And over the past year, one bot seems to have done just that. While I can't speak on how difficult it would be to create a bot like the one we're about to discuss, what I can say is that this bot has created one of the most absurd rabbit holes I have ever seen by connecting almost every single forum on the internet. Down the line, we're going to get to the software likely behind this spam, but for now, let me just explain the situation. As most of you know, forums are a main discussion platform on the web. They're great for niche discussions and home to many communities. Recently, however, one new type of message seems to keep popping up in almost every single forum on the internet. And when I say almost every single forum, I mean almost every single forum. Some of the forums are big names like Nvidia, while others are small like random e-commerce websites and so on. This message doesn't even appear to be limited to forums too, and this spam can be found on PDF documents randomly uploaded to websites, pastebin texts, Reddit posts, and even on comment sections. Basically, anywhere this message can be posted, this bot will go ahead and do that. These somewhat new posts are always in Chinese, and the one we're going to be looking into today, it seems to target Chinese students studying abroad. I stumbled upon this from a Reddit thread, which has now been deleted, but for the sake of this, let's just start with a spam account named DL001. If you Google this username or forum handle, you'll see that it's spammed at quite a few places, but for the sake of this, the most notable one that I found was on an essential oil forum, where it had posted over 1,500 times in just a few days. Now, these messages from the spam bot advertise fake diplomas or fake college degrees. I had never known about this, but apparently fake diplomas are much more common in China. Let's read an excerpt from the LA Times on the subject matter. The competition for good jobs has made such counterfeiting a lucrative business and a headache for government and universities. It appears to be thriving despite a government crackdown. The widespread use of forged credentials has raised doubts in Western academic and business circles about the qualifications of Chinese students and job applicants. It's also an embarrassment for Chinese universities striving for world-class status. State-run Chinese news media reported that the national census in 2000 recorded at least 600,000 more college or university graduates than the actual number of degrees awarded. Now, with all of that put into context, let's look back at our spam post. Reading through the post, you can see that it's targeted at Chinese students that are currently studying abroad, and it's aimed to give students under pressure an easy way out. I'm not going to read through the entire post here, but you can pause the video if you want to take a look. They advertise embassy verification for students studying abroad, and they also claim to handle the Ministry of Education website verification process for a fake diploma. What I found particularly schemy is that one of the reasons for selling these forged documents is on the basis that the students are facing pressure from their parents, or due to various reasons they're failing to graduate smoothly and could not get a real diploma. I know you can buy knockoffs of basically everything in China, but it's going a step further to falsify credentials on a government website. If this is real, this is a full-scale operation, and the fact that something like this is just sitting out on almost every forum on the internet is really crazy to think about. I decided I wanted to try to find the source of where this bot was coming from, and after checking around with various usernames on stopforumspam.com, it appears that this individual account is posting from different proxied IP addresses on every single account. Something I should explain here is that all of these posts want you to contact them by WeChat, which is a chat service owned by Tencent. It's very commonly used in China, and it's owned by the same people who own League of Legends. I said earlier that this has created one of the biggest webs or rabbit holes on the internet, so let me explain how you can navigate through it to find more and more spam. By searching the usernames on the forum posts, it leads you to more posts about different colleges and individually references a contact number on WeChat. Basically, if you search for that number on WeChat, it leads you to more forum users, and the cycle continues until you get to more WeChat IDs and more spam accounts. As I said previously, I don't know how hard it would be to set up one of these bots as they get around CAPTCHA verification, but I believe there is one commercial software that is sold publicly that could be behind all of this. There is a forum spam bot that seems to have all of the features that we've seen thus far, and it's called Xrumor. It's been around for a while and is the only bot that I could find that seems to fit all of the criteria of the one we're looking at. Not to mention, it's the only forum spam bot that I could actually find that has a version in Chinese. The Wikipedia page for Xrumor reads the following. Xrumor is a piece of software made for spamming online forums and comment sections. It is marketed as a program for search engine optimization and was created by Botmaster Labs. It is able to register and post to forums with the aim of boosting search engine rankings. The program is able to bypass security techniques commonly used by many forums and blogs to deter automated spam such as account registration, client detection, many forms of CAPTCHAs, and email verification before posting. The program utilizes SOCs and HTTP proxies in an attempt to make it more difficult for administrators to block posts by source IP and features a proxy checking tool to verify the integrity and anonymity of the proxies used. Something I should note is that I'm not 100% certain that our spam poster is the same one using this exact software, however it does line up with almost all of the utilities involved. Now, if we get back to our spam, I honestly spent way too much time sifting through it looking for clues, but I did manage to dig up a few notable discoveries when me and a few others in Discord were looking at this topic. This rabbit hole honestly goes a hell of a lot deeper, so just bear with me. One of the usernames that is involved with this spam goes by the name DLGufu001, and this was a notable find. Here we stumbled upon this profile on a website called Zihu, and it's a question and answer website. This profile, if you translate it, is Overseas Qualification Consultant Andy, and here is probably the only incident that I could find of our spammer actually posting with human behavior. DLGufu001 is involved with various spam as well. This is just one of his other accounts that he seems to have been using. Here, if we look at his profile, we can see that he's been banned for serious violations of community management regulations, which I can only guess is just community guidelines translated poorly. On his question and answer history, these aren't his usual advertisements whatsoever. Here he is seen answering questions about certain diplomas and universities and how they will affect employment and other circumstances. In some of the questions, he even tells people that if they have a problem with the diploma, don't submit it or else it will get blacklisted. I did manage to get in contact with this spammer and found even more juicy details about this, and here is where this gets even more interesting. I contacted the Andy guy and pretended to be a student interested in buying a degree. I pretended I was a Chinese student studying in Australia and that I wanted to get a diploma for 2021, and I would also need accreditation. He asked me a few questions and mentioned that I would need to put up a 30% deposit and that the diploma would be shipped to me after a week. What's notable here is that when I asked about payment methods, they mentioned that they accept Alipay, WeChat, and Western Union. Now, my best guess here is that if you paid with WeChat or Western Union, they would just take the money and run as there's no accountability whatsoever. This is like paying for something with friends and family over PayPal. As far as I know, WeChat is meant for in-person sales in China. It doesn't have any form of escrow service, so if I sent him money, he could just block me. Western Union is also notorious for these scams, but what's interesting is that they mentioned that they accepted Alipay, which does have an escrow service that holds the money until the actual item is received. And I've actually used Alipay in the past, and disputing things is actually no problem whatsoever. There could be some other angle with Alipay that I'm not considering that would make this a scam. I'm honestly not entirely certain of the case. I definitely could see them taking the money and running in certain situations, but the fact that they want a deposit up front seems to be a little bit iffy as well. They wanted a 30% deposit that would have cost about $546, but the fact that they offered Alipay in tandem with the deposit seems to offer some form of legitimacy. Fake diplomas are rampant in China, and they are much cheaper on the street than the ones that are being advertised here. So I can see this being legitimate, and I can also see it being a scam, like I said before. But besides the point, this topic does go way, way deeper. As I mentioned previously, this is one of the biggest rabbit holes I've ever come across. And by digging through random usernames, we did manage to get lucky when we came upon one little discovery. While we were digging through usernames, a user in my Discord by the name of Kairo managed to find something that seems to suggest this diploma spammer might be connected to another business. As I mentioned previously, this person who has been spamming also uploads PDF documents randomly on the internet. Something I should note about the use of PDFs is that they always use a QR code to advertise his WeChat. But here's the thing. The PDF documents seem to be uploaded by a human, and I have reason to believe why here in a moment. Here we see our standard advertisements on this scribed account, but notably, he left one extra text document uploaded to this website. What I believe happened is that this guy uploaded a batch from a file or folder at once and forgot that this text document was in that folder. If you translate the name of the actual document he uploaded, it reads novice posting email, and due to the nature of this being run through Google Translate, I'm guessing it means new posting emails. This seems to suggest that there's an entire previous set of emails used for something else, and you'll soon see why in a moment. This 3-page text document lists some of the emails associated with the Diploma spam bot, but we did manage to find even more. But what's crucial here is that there's a little Easter egg at the bottom of this text document. In this text document towards the bottom, there is one random link included, and it's an5858.com. And if we go back to Googling this individual domain name, can you guess what comes up? More and more spam. But this time, they're advertising something completely different. These posts are in Korean, and it appears to be advertising a Korean girl shop, which is just poorly translated. If you go down the rabbit hole here, you'll notice that they're using Kakao Talk IDs, which is another type of chat service. If you use the same method for sifting through the spam as I showed you previously, it takes you down a rabbit hole of various 4- and 5-letter domains. Many of these websites are dead, but eventually it all leads to one individual Korean massage service in South Korea by the name of Dio. What's weird about Dio is that they use random Wix websites, all of which are cloned and using a different web address or 4- or 5-letter domain. This massage business also lists an actual location, so it seems to suggest that the person running the entire Diploma forgery situation seems to also have their feet in an entirely separate illegal business using the exact same marketing tactic. There could be a chance that this is just a person who set up the bot as a marketing service to shady companies. But what seems to suggest against that is that Andy was commenting actively about the diplomas on Zhihu under one of the usernames found on the email list. This shows that whoever Andy is has the login to the bot's accounts, and that these spam accounts aren't just entirely set up by a separate entity. Remember that all of these websites are hosted on random domain names that are 4 to 6 characters long, and there is one other link that is found inside of this text document that this guy uploaded accidentally. This is t776.com, and if you go to this website, it takes you to a list of tons of domains for sale. All of them are 4- to 5-letter combinations that seem to fit the exact criteria of what Dio was setting up on their Wix websites. This seems to suggest that whoever made these massage websites also planned on making more clone websites just like Dio has, and they actively pasted this domain store use for later on. To top all of that off, an5858.com isn't even finished yet, and the domain was purchased recently, so my guess is that this was likely the next site that they were going to set up. I believe it's very likely that this massage parlor is in direct connection to finding whoever's behind the forgery service. I'm about 90% certain they're connected, but I can't say it definitively. We don't know the entire context of why an5858.com was put into this text document. Andy or whoever is behind the bot could have been checking out what a competitor was doing. I just don't want to make an absolute confirmation in case I missed a single detail. To sum all of this up, this is one hell of a rabbit hole that I've really only scratched the surface on. With a bot, you're basically able to create an endless supply of accounts that allows someone to go digging for years. The amount of digging through nonsense just to acquire the information that I have got from this has been incredibly difficult, and the text document was something likely an accident. There may be something else to discover in these mountains of spam, but for now, this is where I'm going to leave this topic. This is just one of the most bizarre things I've ever stumbled across in terms of the internet, and when it comes to scams or shady crap that you see spammed across the web, I've never seen anything like this. All in all, like I said, this is where I'm going to leave the topic, and this is Barely Sociable. Have a good night.